Hey everyone, this is a big one. Today I want to talk about what actually got unbanned and why the panel made those choices, and the 3 cards they seriously discussed but didn't pull the trigger on, and why your feedback matters there. This is the first time since last April the Commander format panel has touched the list. Last year they explicitly said they'd pause changes and revisit things in 2026, and that's exactly what this is. What's important here is that it wasn't just a quick internal call. The panel, Wizards Commander's design team, and even in-person conversations at the Commander's Summit all fed into these discussions. This isn't random, it's intentional. Let's start with the big one, Biorhythm. Yes, this card can absolutely end games. Yes, sitting to the Biorhythm player's rights still sucks. The panel acknowledged all of that. But the key comparison they made is important. We already live in a world where Worldfire, Sway of the Stars, and Coalition Victory are all legal, and those cards didn't break the format. Biorhythm is 8 mana, sorcery speed, requires setup, and has counterplay, and is often a terrible card draw when you're behind. The panel accepted that it's risky, but also creates huge memorable moments in Modern Commander, and that kind of swingy spell isn't just an auto-include anymore. Because of that, Biorhythm is unbanned and immediately classified as a game changer, which feels correct. Next up, Lutri the Spell Chaser. This one has always been weird. Lutri was never banned because it was too strong in the game. It was banned because if it was legal as a companion, every single blue-red deck would be wrong not to run it. Free card, no downside, forever. So instead of keeping it banned entirely, the panel introduced a new designation, banned as a companion. Lutri can now be in your deck or your commander, but never your companion. They were very clear this is a one-off solution, not the start of a new ban as commander style list. Companion isn't something they plan to revisit much, and Lutri is the only real problem case. And because of the issue was never power level, Lutri is not being added to the game changers list. The Otter is finally free. Now here's where things get really interesting, because the panel openly wants feedback on 3 specific cards. One of them is Sundering Titan. This one was banned back when blinking it meant the game just didn't continue. But Commander has changed. Mana bases are greedier, ramp is everywhere, and the bracket system actually gives guardrails around the land denial. The panel seriously considered unbanning Sundering Titan as a game changer, but ultimately held back because of its mass land destruction is still one of the most hated things in Commander. Not everyone uses brackets, and as a colorless artifact, it can show up anywhere. This one is a real maybe later, and they explicitly want community input. Ionia, Shield of Emria. This one came extremely close. At the right table, Ionia can be interactive, political, and even interesting. The downside is brutal. Monocolored decks just don't get to play. Many 2-colored decks lose their commander, and there's a hard lock with Painter's Servant that stops opponents from casting spells at all. The big question the panel asked was, does this card make commander more fun? They didn't land on a yes, but they didn't close the door either. This one is firmly on the edge. And then there's Gristlebrand. Let's be honest. This is the nuclear option. 7 life to draw 7 cards in a 40 life format is still absurd. Use its ability once and the game usually ends. The panel openly admitted this card is incredibly dangerous, it would be massively played, and it could reshape high power in CEDH tables overnight. But people love this card. And if any banned card represents the tension between power level and letting people play what they love, this is it. Right now, it stays banned, but the fact that it was even discussed tells you how open this panel is willing to be. Finally, no additional bans today. They specifically called out Thassa's Oracle and Rhystic Study as cards they are watching, but feedback and data don't justify action right now. The bar to ban a card in Commander is extremely high and nothing crossed it. The biggest takeaway here isn't just the unbans, it's transparency. The panel is telling us what they're thinking about, why certain cards are scary, and where player feedback actually matters. If you have opinions on Sundering Titan, Ionia, or Gristlebrand, now's the time to say something, because this list isn't frozen anymore.